Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Top View News, and I have here with me Mr. Matthew, a well-renowned political analyst. Mr. Matthew, good morning. How are you doing, sir?
I'm fine. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So, in the past few hours, we heard some northern senators throwing, threats and, they're fanning hammers of wars, saying that the Nigerian president will face serious consequences if he dares move the CBN from Abuja to Lagos State. Now, is CBN the property of the northern senators?
In Nigeria, every country have what is unique to it. In Nigeria, we understand that once you have the federal capital territory, all the major government agencies, parastatals, institutions are domiciled in the FCT. That is especially where Lagos was the capital of Nigeria, and all the federal government agencies, parastatals, institutions were here in Lagos. The presidency may have genuine interest. Because we look at the explanation for the presidency, for instance, the CBN, that the banking institution has to need to move to Abuja. Beyond the reason of decongesting the facility, the headquarters of CBN in Abuja, that all the commercial banks have their head offices here in Lagos, which is true, and that is proper that the supervisors are closer to the area of the operation. So it looks genuine. But it has to be seen whether the presidency has what it takes to dissuade the mind of the northerners, not buying into the arguments or position of people like Nduma, who are come out clearly to say this is an agenda against the north. But Nduma clearly says that he was not speaking as a Borno man, that he's speaking as a northerner, meaning he's looking at the larger picture, trying to present himself as representing the entire north.
Is this not an indictment on the southern senators? Because you remember just 4 years ago, the Federal Aviation Authority was moved from Lagos back to Abuja. Yet the southern senators didn't speak on behalf of the southerners. I mean, why is it always that the northern senators are always the ones who are not outspoken? Don't forget Ali Sirika, as of 2019, moved fan down to Abuja, but nobody spoke against it because it now seems that the northern senators are the determinants on whatever direction this country goes to. Don't you feel there's a level of unfairness in this?
You may see it as some level of fairness, but unfairness, I mean to say. But the problem is the way you manage northern youths is different from the way you manage southern youths. What the stakeholders from the north come together, the youths as good as being captured, because they always pander to whatever directly comes from the unanimous decision of the elites. But the same is not the same in the south here. If democracy is to be practiced in the true sense of democracy, let the whole allies from the south come together and take a decision. If the candidate that presenting is not at home with the youth, if vote will count, the decision of allies will not see the light of the day. But it's not the same thing in the north. So it's got to show that if care is not taken, the youths are likely going to buy into the argument of position of Nduma. And just like I have said, that if the president refuses to revise the decision, he said the CBN government could not have gotten that position if Tinubu did not win president. So it got to show that if the president did not intervene, that Mr. President is directly involved in what is happening.
Is that statement not a deliberate statement? Is it not kind of condescending to the president? Because Ali Ndume now is saying if it's not because of they did not even he even said it that it wasn't Lagos that voted in. I mean, I think that's the height of ridicule.
But what is happening? I think the presidency have responded. And if they see it as a deliberative statement, I think it's within their capacity to respond accordingly. But rather, we are seeing them recruiting or trying to set the record straight. But I think the presidency is civil enough, because what we need to do is to bring out our own position to prove to the world, to the citizens, that yes, we have taken this decision, and it's not because we want to despise the FCT.
Okay, away from that, just about 5 to 6 weeks ago, we experienced a massive massacre in Plateau State. Just 2 days ago, despite the governor issuing a curfew, over 30 people were beheaded. Meanwhile, our president taken out yesterday to France to go and have a nice time. What is your evaluation of our president in fighting insecurity so far? Do you have any confidence?
Mr. Ali, I must tell you, I'm worried. I'm worried because the president is the president and the commander of the armed forces. And as a country, as a nation, as a sovereign state, the government is supposed to have monopoly of coercive power. We shouted during the administration of Muhammadu Buhari that the government, the security agencies are sharing that monopoly of coercive power with non-state actors. And look and see the trend is continuing. Because that brings us to the idea of let us rejig our security architecture.
Don't forget, the president just recently had a national security, meeting with the security chiefs, and he told them to go all out and fight against this insurgents. I don't get it. Is it that we don't have enough manpower, or we don't, or there are saboteurs within the military architecture? If you were the president, I mean, how would you have resolved this issue?
To start with, let me say this is not the first time the armed forces will be getting a presidential order. If I were the president, like you asked, I would do things differently from the way it has been done.
What would you have done?
One, I would have rejigged the security architecture. The command and control system that is centralized need to be decentralized. I would have given some level of security power to the state levels, state government.
So you would have pushed for state police.
Yes, don't forget that when the pressure of state police was high under Muhammadu Buhari, instead of yielding to it, he came out with constabulary police, which is just like a neighborhood watch that doesn't bear arm, just to protect Nigerians. So it's going to show that he's aware that Nigerians are yearning for this. And I think that is what you need to do, because all crime is local. If you must address it, you must address it from that point. And I would have drafted the traditional institution into the security arrangement, because they are the locals, they are the ones that know the terrain, they have their subject in all the nook and crannies of their respective communities. I would have drafted them into it, make it legal, let them have legal role to play. That's another issue. That I would have drive it with technology, because I understand that technology is the way to go.
Mr. Matthew, if you approve state police, how would you deal with the issue of remuneration? Because this has always been the argument that having state police is not the problem, but how will every state have the financial capacity to sustain it? States like Zamfara, states like Taraba, where will they get the funds from? That even the federal allocation they are getting is not even enough to pay salaries of their civil service. So I mean, this is an argument that is genuine if you are going to look at it objectively. But I mean, it seems you are just in a state of we are in limbo. This is a serious quagmire. I mean,
I can tinker with the current sharing formula of our revenue. I can tinker with it to give state more revenue. Or, better still, the remuneration can be shared between federal government and state government.
But don't forget, whatever you intend to do, the National Assembly must be aware.
I'm not unaware of that. I know. In Nigeria, the presidency has so much influence. And no senator, no House of Rep member want to be in the bad book of the presidency.
Do you think so? Do you think the National Assembly cannot fight against the president?
They can if it is a normal society.
Don't think
Other Nigerian setting.
Have you forgotten we experienced this between 2015 and 2019 under Bukola Saraki?
The fight was not to the extent of threatening the office of Mr. President.
Because there was no need for that.
Even if there were need for that, I don't think any National Assembly will succeed in impeaching the president of Nigeria, the most powerful president in the world. Not because of his physical strength, but because of the power the constitution arrogates to the office of the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Mr. Matthew. Please kindly share, like, and subscribe. Good morning,
Thank
everybody.
you for having me.